Hi, YouTube. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards with a Thursday edition of our program. Welcome to all of you, new and old subscribers alike. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for helping me grow the channel. Um, so, a couple of things. One, I had a viewer say, I didn't catch your name. Could you say more about your background? Well, all right. Look, if you go to that section that's under every video, click the whatever it says more button or about button, whatever it is, and you can learn some things about me. My website link is there, and the information is there. But my name is Erica Robinson. I've been doing this work for a very, very long time. And yeah, that was kind of funny. I didn't catch your name. Um, I want to remind you that on Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So again, do the calculation. I will be coming on live on YouTube to do personal readings. There is no place for you to sort of preemptively put your questions in advance. It's going to be all in live real time. So if you get your question answered, and I'll probably do 5 card spreads for as many people as I can in that hour. If you get your question answered, that's great. If you don't, think of it as, a teaching opportunity to see how the cards function in somebody's real lived context. So I'm doing that Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific. I will be doing it again on New Year's Eve at 4 p.m. Pacific. So anyway, the first one is first, and that will be Sunday, 10 a.m. Let's see. I see that there has been a verdict in the case against Dominique Pellicot in France. This is the husband who solicited men over a period of many years to rape his unconscious wife, Giselle. Giselle testified. She's become sort of a feminist folk hero as a result. Very brave for her to do that. And as I predicted when I read on this case a couple of months ago, Dominique and his um, band of merry men, 50, I think, have all been convicted. So, good. And plus, what are you doing? Ew. Anyway, uh, now, someone who seems to be on a knife's edge lately is Mike Johnson. Remember, he is the current uh, and perhaps not future Speaker of the House. He had cobbled together bipartisan support for a bill that would have funded the government at least through the holidays, through the end of the year. And 45 didn't like the bill, nor did 45's puppeteer Musk. So the bill is a non-starter. So my question is, there's a couple of questions, I guess, around this. The first is, will there be a government shutdown? No, nobody wants it, but it may be inevitable. I don't know. Will there be a government shutdown around Christmas time? Uh, and I think I'll use the tower for the government, and Spirit knows that I'm talking about a shutdown. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so we're looking for, oh, whoop, first card that I turned over. Okay, so that means that it cannot be the center card, which I had intended for it to be, but that's fine because then it'll be interesting to see what the center card is. So it was the first card. I haven't turned anything else over. So because it's the first card, I put it there, and then I have the cards following it. Okay. So we have the tower, the birds, the house, the heart, the letter. Um, these all look sort of like very, I'll hold them up. The tower, the birds, the house, the heart, and the letter. I think there will not be a shutdown. It would not be good for either side for there to be a shutdown now. You know, obviously it would have been on Biden's watch that there was a shutdown, and obviously it wouldn't be a good look for 45 walking in to a shutdown. So this is the government, this is the, people talking, people talking. Um, this is the White House, and I just think that both sides are going to want to be looked at kindly by the public. Both the outgoing administration and the incoming administration want to be seen with favor. So it's to both of their advantages that there not be a shutdown. So to me, this looks like the stopgap bill that funds the government through the new year. So I don't think there'll be a shutdown. Okay. Um, the next thing that I want to look at, just for purely, you know, well, I don't like Mike Johnson, just saying. But that's neither here nor there. I would like to know about how his speakership is, the health of his speakership. Because, sorry, that's my phone dinging. Uh, because there have been noises made. I will name the two people who've been making the noises, and then you'll say, oh, well, yeah, them. But so the two people making noises are Rand Paul, who's always problematic, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, also always problematic, who have floated the idea that Elon, puppeteer Elon, should be the next Speaker of the House. Now, that's not legal, but there is a way that it could be made legal, like an illegal way that it could be made legal, which is to say, all Elon would have to do is sort of dangle some amount, right, in front of someone who is in the house and have them step back, have 45 name Musk in that place, and now he is eligible to be the speaker. But, you know, that's a lot of contortions to go through. Uh, so I just want to look at Elon Musk and his chances of becoming Speaker of the House. What we'll do is we'll use the young man for him, not because he's young per se, but because he is headstrong and careless and foolish in the way of many young men. Okay, so we're looking at it in terms of the speakership. Okay. Oh, you're not going to believe this. Okay, it wasn't the first card, but it's the last card. So when it's the last card, I put it last because, it's the last card. And then I just off the top take the cards that precede it. That's crazy. Okay. So wait, how many did I pick? Did I pick too many? Yeah. So we have the young woman, the scythe, the birds, the dog, and then Elon. And I'm looking to see will he be the next speaker? So again, the cards are the young woman, the scythe, the birds, the dog, and Elon. I'm going to say that this is a non-starter with these two cards here. This is very yin energy, passive, and this is the scythe that cuts right through it. I feel like it's a non-starter. I don't think that anybody's going to be willing to go to that length. But they are talking about it because this ended up being the center card. And so there's definitely buzz about, is there a way we can make Elon the Speaker of the House? Can you imagine? Um, now, the last two cards are the dog and then Elon. I think it's probably going to be decided that it's better for Elon to remain uh, friend and counselor to the president as opposed to being the speaker, which is an entirely, supposedly entirely different role. So I don't think we have to worry about Elon being Speaker of the House now or any time in the foreseeable future. Um, okay. Uh, Now we can look at Mike Johnson and see whether, he is long for this position. We'll use the older man for him. He's not that old, but whatever. We'll use the older man for him. And I just want to know, how is the health? Well, the health of his speakership is not good, but will he be able to hold on to his position? So we're looking for the older man, and that will stand for Mike Johnson. There he is. Okay, so that's going to be Mike Johnson. Um, okay, the rider, the house, the man, the scythe, and the key. Okay, so again, a message is being sent to him from the incoming White House, which would be 45. This again stands for Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. And the message is, you're done. I think 45 will see to it that Mike Johnson either capitulates 100% the way everybody's supposed to now, but that if he doesn't, um, the answer will be that you're out. So I think he's in great danger. Now, he is certainly more than willing and able to bend the knee and kiss the ring. Uh, and that could save him, but he is in ill favor because he tried to broker this bipartisan deal. Um, 45 didn't like it, Musk didn't like it. So we're back to the drawing board trying to come up with an agreement to fund the government into the new year. I suspect that they will come to that agreement, but I don't know that Mike Johnson is long for the speakership. I don't think so. Okay. Another thing I wanted to look at is Fani Willis of Georgia, who made that, uh, committed that indiscretion, we'll say, uh, has now been taken off the case, which means that her whole office is off the case. This is the Georgia election case against 45. Now, what they didn't do was dismiss the case because, of course, that's what 45 wanted. He said, I'm going to be the president again, so, everything should be dismissed against me. The higher court did not do that. They did just, but they removed Willis in her office. So I just want to know, what is the future of that case against 45? This is the election case against 45. This time again, we're going to use the tower, but it will stand for the case against 45 in Georgia. What is the future of that case? Okay, now that Willis has been um, taken off, which means everything kind of starts from square one with a new set of characters. Okay, so we're looking for the tower, and that will stand for the case. Uh, you know, interesting. We have crossroads, dog, tower, ring, and man. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some clarifiers before I start talking about that. Um, and I'm going to draw clarifiers on the ring and on 45. You know what? And also on the case itself. Okay. So really interesting cards, I think. So we have again the crossroads, the dog, the tower, the ring, and 45. So um, this is the decision that was just made to go a different way, right? To not use Fonnie Willis for this. So this is them going another way. These are lawyers. Now, and I feel like this is the prosecution saying, yeah, but we don't want this case dropped. We still want to be able to bring this case. We want this case continued. Uh, Tower, of course, is in the middle. 45 is at the end there. So I drew clarifiers on the case. Look what we get. Clouds, Bonnie Willis, and the cross. But this line is sort of a present line, a right now line. So this speaks to literally what happened. The case is now the progress of the case or the continuance of the case, whatever, is in doubt, clouds, because Willis has been kicked off the case. Now I drew cards on the ring, and the ring is about, um, keeping the case going, rerunning the case, starting it all over, whatever they have to do. And we have the garden, the tower, I mean the mountain, and the snake. So of course, moving forward, you know, um, a lot of people, that's what this card is for. A lot of people are like, you know what? Stop, don't quit it. We don't need this. It's just, it's just a distraction. So the public opinion will be, um, just leave it alone. Now, by the way, the mountain is not an end in and of itself, right? It's just a pause. So this could be like other cases, which are like, for example, Marchand's case. He's going to postpone sentencing probably until 45's out of office, I guess. So this could just be a postponement, which of course for 45 would be problematic. This is 45, you know, being the bully that he is, um, saying that justice dictates that this thing be dismissed, and he will make that message loud and clear and intimidate whoever he has to intimidate in order to get that message across. Entertainment purposes only, as they say. So I think, I think that at the very least, the case will go into cold storage until 2028. I think that's the best we can hope for. Um, the worst we can hope for, well, I mean, the worst, we're not going to hope for the worst. The worst that could happen is that it gets dismissed entirely. But the best we can hope for is that it gets postponed. And I think that the jury is still out on that. I tell you, energy is mutable, things change. But yeah. Okay. Couple more. Um, you know, 45 will want to have examples made of people. And so the person who is seems to be most in his crosshairs, and maybe not most, but close to most, is Liz Cheney. And I just like to know what her situation is. Uh, what kind of danger is she in from him? Okay, so we're going to use the older woman, and that will stand this time for Liz Cheney and this situation brewing around her. Because, of course, you know what 45 will want to prosecute her, put her in jail, give her the death penalty, whatever. I mean, he will try anything to make an example of her and to punish her. Okay, so we're looking at Liz Cheney's trajectory in these next 4 years. And we're going to use the older woman to represent her. That'll be Liz Cheney. Okay, so we have 45, the younger woman, Cheney, the star, and the heart. I'm definitely going to draw some clarifiers on a couple of these. All right. So again, the cards are 45, the young woman, Cheney, star, and the heart. I mean, interesting. 45 is 45, so there you go. This is yin energy, so it's kind of like toothless. She in the moment is toothless. Here's the star, the card that I can mirror it with. For the next 4 years, he's in charge, and so she is has been rendered toothless. Now, of course, he loves that. He loves being able to put her in a position of powerlessness. He loves doing this with women. Okay, so here, entertainment purposes only. Here we have Cheney, and again, put in a box. We have the garden, and we have the ring. So, she's kind of stopped in her tracks from from doing the work, the public work that she'd like to do, which is to thwart him at every turn. Um, but she'll be back. I like that ring there. She'll be back. Um, all sickness is not unto death. Okay, so here we have this future card, followed by the bear, again, the mountain, and the dog. So he will make her life a misery. She'll be having to, pay lawyers to fight back because he'll be bullying her. Um, and he will temporarily um, derail her. Remember, this is just temporary. Um, and she'll have to hire lawyers, that's for sure. Now, this last line is interesting because we've got the heart, crossroads, letter, and clover. Hmm. Uh, as I said when I was reading horizontally, 45 loves this. He loves putting her on the back foot. Um, she's going to have to find ways around him to do her work, her advocacy work for, and she's an advocate for what? Well, democracy, I guess. I'm not a fan of hers. I do think she was brave during the January 6th thing, but I think she's going to have to find some workarounds to weather this. Mm, I do think that this feels to me like, you know, subpoenas, orders to appear before some committee, whatever. So she'll be harassed and in short order. I mean, I think that that's one of the first things that he will do as a dictator on day one. Wasn't that what he said he was going to do? And I think that that will be to quickly, this is nothing good about this card in the moment, um, quickly begin the harassment by flooding her with subpoenas and requests for documents and all kinds of things. So she's got a rocky road ahead, but she's a tough bird, comes from tough stock, Dick Cheney's daughter. Uh, but her next 4 years are definitely not what she had hoped that they would be. Um, so okay. I thought I would look at finally, what will the Supreme Court do about TikTok? So, as you know, TikTok is due to end here in well soon. The Supreme Court has agreed to take up the case. What's the case? The case is an argument that getting rid of TikTok is an infringement of First Amendment speech rights of Americans. Now, what TikTok was supposed to have done was to not be under Chinese um, ownership, at least insofar as TikTok in the United States is concerned. Uh, they wanted TikTok to sell because, it's a Chinese entity and there's all kinds of security issues around that. But it's also true that millions and millions of people use TikTok. I am not one of them, but millions and millions of people do. And so it has been framed as a First Amendment infringement to to outlaw TikTok here. So what will the court decide about TikTok? We'll use the tower for the court. Okay. Okay, so this is the Supreme Court on TikTok. I'm going to draw a couple of clarifiers. Okay. So we have the dog, clouds, the tower, which stands for the Supreme Court and their decision on TikTok, clover, and birds. Now, this won't be decided for some time, I suspect, because if they're going to hear it, they're going to hear the case in a month. You know how it is. They hear the case, oh, and then they take their time deciding. So this won't happen, right away, but this is the lawyers arguing. Let me show you. So I can mirror the lawyer card with all of these conversations that will be happening both before and during the deliberations by the court. Now, I'm sorry, the next card is clouds. I think that the court does, at this point, does not know what to do because there are competing interests. There's national security interests, and then there's First Amendment interests. So, it's a toss-up. That's why I'm not a Supreme Court justice, because I wouldn't want to decide this. But very interesting that I can mirror this with Clover. First of all, I think they will not take as long as they normally take to decide a case. between the time they hear the arguments and then their decision. I think it will be, as I like to say, quick, fast, and in a hurry, the decision, actually. Right now, they have no idea, but once they hear the case, I think they will be decided. So let's see what else we can figure out. So here's the court deciding this. Look, we have the mice, the fox, and 45. Uh, there may be some attempt because, you know, the Supreme Court is already in the bad graces of the American public writ large. And they don't want to make a decision that will make the American public even more negatively disposed towards them. They worry about that here. So, but this is also a card that kind of nibbles away at things. It's not just the card for worry and anxiety, it nibbles away at things. And I'm wondering whether there could be some Solomonic splitting of the baby discussion going on. Like, is there a way for us to keep people, to allow people access to that platform without the Chinese spying component? Experts will have to be consulted about that. And 45 will have some part to play in this because he'll have an opinion, right? I mean, he loves social media platforms. It could be that he says, one less platform is good for me because in Spanish they say, entre menos burros, más maíz. So the fewer donkeys that you have, the more corn there is for each donkey. So he's got Truth Social, there's X, there's whatever. If he can, if he can, if TikTok's not around, people will be looking for, well, what are the other platforms we can go to and do stuff on? That will only benefit him. So that's interesting. Now, what he says shouldn't matter to the court, but it could. And it's interesting that it's in the center line. I mean, 45, everything he touches, he infects. Entertainment purposes only. And I think this decision will also be one of those things. So now we have Clover, and the clarifiers are the ring, the ship, and the letter. And it's making me think that hmm, again, that the decision will be quick. The reason I'm hesitating is that I'm thinking about this ring I mean, if ring is continuity, well, currently we have TikTok, right? Um, but there was also that ruling. So the continuity could be that that ruling is upheld. Um, I think the ruling might be upheld because this feels like the ruling. Um, the ship means goes forward. What goes forward? The ruling that outlaws TikTok, because they did not find a seller that our government found appropriate. Uh, this is the last of the original five cards. So this is about the deliberations, the conversations, etc. And we have the young woman, the tree, and then the scales. Um, I think Amy Comey Barrett will have some things to say about what direction this should go in. And I do think that the court will want to do some sort of split the baby thing. Like, come on, TikTok, can't you sell like we asked you to? Did you even look for a buyer? Uh, I can mirror this with this card here. I I mean, to outlaw TikTok would create outrage, as you can imagine, especially among the younger generation. Mm. So I think that, between now and when the decision is actually made, maybe there will be some split the baby thing where there is a buyer found so that TikTok can stay. Well, that was very unsatisfactory, uh, because the court is damned if they do and damned if they don't. You know, is the court going to bow to Chinese pressure? Um, Chinese pressure being, yeah, no, we're not going to go look for a new buyer. Either keep it or get rid of it, whatever. We don't care what you do, right? Or are they going to bow to the pressure to get rid of it because of security concerns, or are they going to bow to the public who want TikTok to stay? Uh, Energy's mutable on this one. I do think Amy Coney Barrett, maybe she'll write the dissenting opinion if they get rid of TikTok or they keep it. Either one, I think she'll write the dissenting opinion for whatever it is. Okay. Finally, so H5N1, I talked about this very briefly in a previous video, and somebody came at me and said, "Yo, you're creating hysteria." If I'm making you feel hysterical, you know what to do. Click off. Um, I do know that our governor here in California has declared a state of emergency because of bird flu. So, it's not just me making a big thing out of this. So I think I'm just gonna look at the trajectory of bird flu, and I'm gonna use the coffin because the coffin is the card for illness. Okay. You know what? I never do this, but I looked at the bottom of the deck like I always do, and the bottom of the deck was mice. And mice is actually a better card than coffin, because mice is about sort of communicable illnesses, right? So we're going to use this. And because it was the last card in the deck, I'm going to put it last, and then I'm going to pull the cards that come before it. Okay. So we have scales, we have older woman, star, cross, and mice. All right, and I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers on star, cross, and mice. Okay, so this is bird flu. So the original cards are the scales, the older woman, star, the cross, and this is the card for the virus. Okay. So, you know, people are trying to take a measured approach, a balanced approach to looking at this. I can mirror this card with this card. So, a balanced approach to how to address H5N1. Now, we have an incoming administration, right? Which was pretty passive about COVID, and that had a bad result. And this is also a passive approach as opposed to a proactive approach, which also theoretically could have a bad approach, a bad outcome, right? A passive approach, a bad outcome. So I pulled clarifiers on this center card. The center card is the star. Now, I always tell you the star is the future, but guess what else? Star is for spreading like a virus does, and it being problematic as it spreads through the population. And, experts are warning about this. I mean, that's why this early, Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency in our state. So it's going to spread fast and it's going to be a problem. If you call that hysteria, then okay, call me hysterical and you can find somebody else to get your information from. Cross, this is bad. This is a card for pain, for suffering, etc. Long term. And we have Clover here, but I think Clover is about speed. This is long term and this is speed. And, the key is like an answer. Well, the answer is get on top of this thing, address it, get the vaccine out, do what you need to do. Um, and if you're an individual, take precautions. Wear a mask, maybe go vegetarian. How about that? Maybe cut the milk you drink. And again, entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. I'm not playing a doctor here on YouTube. I'm suggesting that we had one lesson in 2020, did we not? And we've had many lessons, have we not? And we have refused to lose to learn them, which is why we find ourselves in this incoming situation that we've got. Well, let's try to do better this time with bird flu. So here's bird flu, and we have the young man card, the heart, and the ring. I mean, I'm hoping that this is about a proactive approach because, we love our lives and we want our lives to continue. So hopefully, we will have learned the lessons. The government will have learned the lessons. Although with Mr. No Vaccine Kennedy at the helm of the health department, you know, so take personal precautions. It's not coming next week, but it's coming, or else there would not be a state of emergency having been declared here. So just do your due diligence, wear a mask, um, you know, all the things. Okay, so on that cheery note, I will go. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you very soon. Take care.